Hey fam, how's it going? And in today's video, we have a deck that I like to call Warriors for Hire. Let's get right to it. For the skill card, we have Shadow Reborn. For monster lineup, we have 3 Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, 3 Exiled Force, and 3 DD Warrior Lady. For spells, we have 3 Creature Swap, 3 Reinforcement of the Army, and 2 the Warrior Returning Alive. And then for the traps, we have 3 Floodgate Trap Holes and 3 Zomas. Alright, before we go over the game plan fam, let's go over the skill Shadow Reborn real quick. It reads, activate this skill during your main phase once per duel. You can pay half your life points and special summon 1 monster from either graveyard, but your opponent takes no battle damage this turn. Okay, let's get on to the strategies part now. How to win / strategies. Alright fam, so the main win condition of this deck is to control the field. Specifically, control your opponent's monster field. And the way we're gonna go about that is we're going to 1-for-1 the opponent. Now, the veteran Yu-Gi-Oh players know the phrase 1-for-1, but for the newer players, allow me to explain. 1-for-1 means that it takes one of our cards to destroy one of their cards. So in this scenario, we have Exiled Force. And by the way, fam, this is the first strategy of the deck, so pay attention. But don't worry, it's also simple. But anyways, we have Exiled Force here, which reads, you contribute this card, then target 1 monster on the field. Destroy that target. So let's say we normal summon Exiled Force, use its effect to destroy their Ancient Gear Golem, and that's it. That's all we gotta do, fam. I told you it's simple, right? But here's the thing. Let's say the opponent summons another strong monster. So just for example's case, let's say they summon another Ancient Gear Golem. Well, this is why we have Floodgate Trap Hole. It deals with troublesome monsters, you know, something strong or even breaker. But basically the point is, Floodgate Trap Hole is gonna buy us some time because the opponent can't do anything with it when it gets floodgated like that. So come end phase of their turn, we are going to activate Zoma. That way, when it really is our turn, we can shift it to attack position, right? Now, this is where the tech card, the Warrior Returning Alive, comes in. Now we can just reuse Exiled Force, do it all over again. Normal summon, and then destroy, and then use that opening with Zoma to attack the opponent's life points. You see? It's simple, but extremely effective. And not only that, fam, so depending on your matchup, let's say we Exile Force, you know, the opponent's monster, right? We can even use Shadow Reborn to special summon the opponent's monster from their graveyard and take it and put it on our side of the field. So again, depending on the scenario, you could have a very strong boss monster on your side of the field. Or with Shadow Reborn, we can use Exiled Force all over again. Strategy number 1 is to really just use and abuse Exiled Force. So let's move on to the next strategy. Alright, strategy number 2. Now this strategy involves Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. So why don't we read it real quick. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Earth Warrior monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck in attack position. So basically a UFO turtle or a giant rat, but for Earth Warriors. So in this scenario, let's say we summoned Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, and now we're going to activate our tech card of Creature Swap because we see a nice strong monster on the opponent's side of the field. And on a side note, for those of you that have been watching my videos for a while now, I think you noticed that I love Creature Swap. And the reason being for that, fam, is because anytime you can mess with the opponent's board, like take control of their monster and plus off of it, that's too good to pass up in my opinion. So it's like Creature Swap and Giant Rat and UFO Turtle, and now this. Come to me. Come to the speed duel, bro. I'll make good use of that. So anyways, let's continue with the strategy. So we just activated Creature Swap. Now we're going to take the opponent's monster, and in this case it was a volcanic doomfire. We're going to enter the battle. Now in this scenario, you can either get another Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, or you can get Exiled Force. So for the strategy's example's sake, let's go with the Exiled Force. Now whatever the opponent dishes out, we'll be ready, because again, we have Floodgate Trap Hole ready and waiting. But again fam, the moment that this field just happened, where we took the opponent's boss monster and we plussed off of it thanks to Warrior Lady of the Wasteland, we've pretty much got game at that point. And then if there is any other monster that the opponent dishes out that for whatever reason Exiled Force can't handle, like let's say, you know, your opponent has a monster that can't be destroyed by card effects or whatever, well, that's when DD Warrior Lady comes into the scene and cleans up the field, basically. And remember, we're running 3 reinforcement of the army, or as the veteran Yu-Gi-Oh players used to say, or we still do say actually, we call reinforcement of the army Rhoda for short. But yeah fam, this is the strategy. It's basically a consistent 1-for-1 monster removal basis. And if we can take control of the opponent's monster, then that's just an added bonus. Hence, the Warriors for Hire, fam. There you go. Card analysis. The skill card Shadow Reborn. Now in this particular deck, it's extremely effective because of Exiled Force. So the moment that we use Exiled Force and it's in the graveyard, we can use Shadow Reborn to bring it back. So in addition to the warrior returning alive, we can use Exiled Force potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times if need be. So at that point fam, it's like, how can you not gain control of the field? You know, if we have this capability of monster removal. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, let's continue. We have the 3 Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. As mentioned earlier, it's like Giant Rat or UFO Turtle, but for Earth Warrior monsters. Now, when this is paired with Creature Swap, not only do we gain great advantage over the opponent, but we get to plus as well, because Warrior Lady lets us deck thin by putting another monster out on the field when it's destroyed. So with Warrior Lady of the Wasteland and Reinforcement of the Army, this is our engine right here fam, our mini engine. Now the reason why I say it's mini is because we don't really have a card in the deck that helps us draw directly from the deck, so instead we kind of just search and deck thin. And then we play the 3 Exiled Force, which I would call the main monster of the deck. This is going to be our go-to card to help us keep the opponent's monster field under control with our 1-for-1 methods. And then we play the 3 DD Warrior Lady, which I would call the boss monster of the deck. Now, DD Warrior Lady comes out if there's anything that Exiled Force can't handle. And then we play the 3 Rhoda. This is just to, again, it's part of the engine of the deck, and it helps us search for any warrior that we need at any given time. And then the 2 tech choices of the warrior returning alive. This is just to help us keep using Exiled Force even more, or if we have to, Warrior Lady of the Wasteland. And then Creature Swap, I've already explained the effectiveness of that, but don't forget fam, we can also Creature Swap with Zoma if we really want to destroy the opponent quickly, you know. Creature Swap Zoma, that's always good too. And then we play the 3 Floodgate Trap Holes. Again, this is just to help us keep the opponent's monster under control, because once the opponent's monster gets hit with a Floodgate Trap Hole, it's just a sitting duck. And at that point, that's going to be lunch for Exiled Force or DD Warrior Lady. And then we play the 3 Zomas. Now this fam is obviously self-explanatory of the greatness of Zoma, but its role in this deck is it's going to help push the offense, because Exiled Force and DD Warrior Lady, they're going to create the opening for us to attack our opponent directly. So that's where Zoma comes in. And then as mentioned earlier, its secondary role is to be Creature Swapped, so that we can attack the opponent's life points even more. Alright, so where does this deck rank on the power scale? In my humble opinion, this deck is competitive. And the reason why I say it's competitive fam is because we have the best one-for-one efficiency in this deck because of Exiled Force. And here's another thing that I forgot to point out in the strategy section, fam. So let's say we had set the Warrior Lady on our turn, right? The opponent attacks our Warrior Lady and we bring out Exiled Force. So come our turn, we can use Exiled Force to destroy the opponent's monster, and if we have the warrior returning alive, we can use Exiled Force again. So meaning we could potentially use Exiled Force twice in one turn. So again, it goes back to the point. How can you not gain control of the field? You see what I'm saying? And yes, fam, I know that I don't main deck any form of back row removal, so we're just gonna have to side deck that part. But here's the thing. When the opponent sees Exiled Force or DD Warrior Lady, these two cards nearly have the same impact as Breaker the Magical Warrior. Because what happens when we summon a Breaker to the field? We force our opponent to activate something, right? Whether it's Book of Moon or Floodgate Trap Hole, anything, just anything. Well, guess what? Exiled Force and DD Warrior Lady also have that effect on the opponent. We're gonna force them to activate something, otherwise their field is going to get wrecked by us. So if you think about it, fam, that right there is a form of back row removal or back row pressure, if you want to call it that. And another angle that I'd like to add as to why I think this deck is competitive is because we take care of our business before the battle phase, and that right there is so key, fam. Because allow me to elaborate. As we all know that after the battle phase, our turn ends, that's it. But the fact that we have the capability to clear the opponent's monster without attacking, oh, that's trouble for the opponent for sure. And when you factor in the consistency of the deck and the fact that we can call upon any warrior at any time, oh, we've got something special here, fam. We really do. And lastly, I'd like to explain why I'm okay with this deck being 23 cards. It's because we have the 3 Rotas, which really do add another level of consistency to the deck. And since we have Floodgate, Trap Hole, and Zoma, the 2 most powerful trap cards in the game right now, at least I think so, it's because of these trap cards right here, we really can buy time, you know, to help us get to our resources and just do what we need to do. So yeah, fam, that's the deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to hit the like button, helps me out a lot. And if you haven't already subscribed to me, your Speed Duel bro, you're more than welcome to subscribe because 2 things. 1, I always play to win and I'll teach you how to win. And 2, if you love speed duels, I'm sure you'll love me too, your Speed Duel bro. Thank you for watching and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.